Hi guys, welcome to the 10th in my series of reviews of Warhammer Conquest, where we will, unsurprisingly, be reviewing issue number 10. This is the first vehicle, and it's also the first week that Death Guard have gotten 2 in a row of things. Okay, so I'm just going to open this up, and first things first, let's look at the beautiful, beautiful plastic crack. You got a fantastic model there, all the detail you'd expect. And all the cool stuff you need. It's not the biggest of vehicles, but then again, what are you expecting attached to the front of a magazine? They're hardly going to be able to fit a Land Raider. Although they have got some bigger ones coming, so it'll be interesting to see how to deal with that. One thing that has been mentioned to me is, on these kits, there are very few spare parts. In fact, in most of these kits, there are no spare parts. There are no alternative bits, no contribution to the bits box. And that's because we're getting the easy-to-build kits, which are their marked down, cheaper version of the kits. The models themselves are no worse, it's just you don't get all the options you could get with the full bigger kits. For example, I myself bought an easy to build Redemptor Dreadnought. It comes with one weapon layout and no shoulder mounted missile launchers. It looks fantastic, and I was happy with that with the basic weapon loader anyway, but it's £25 as opposed to the £40 of the full Redemptor Dreadnought kit. I think it's 38 or something like that. I suppose it's far more expensive. For Redemptor Dreadnought kit. I think that's actually perfectly acceptable, given that these are not even going at the retail price that they would go at, but in fact $7.99. So you're saving even more money. Yes, you're not getting contributions to the bits box, but at the same time, if you're an avid modeler, you'll probably have a load of stuff in your bits box, and if you're not, that's what your friendly local gaming store is for. Either your GW or your independent gaming store will have random bits they picked up over the years from every demo box they built, from half their own stuff that they've made, every army for parade that they've done. They will have a bits box, and most of them will let you have a rummage. Some of them will let you have a few bits for free, some of them will let you buy bits. Usually you can then take a lot more because they don't care how much you take. Others will let you trade bit for bit. They'll let you bring in bits that you aren't going to use and let you trade them for bits that you are going to use. So if you don't have a bits box, don't worry about it. You don't need any bits for the models coming in Conquest. They are complete models. And if you want bits because you want to do some exciting conversions or you've got some ideas, there are always friends that can give you bits, or your friendly local gaming store can usually sort you out. Reason aside, you may notice I'm sniffing and snorting a lot. I've got a cold, and then I want to have my flu jab because it's flu season over here in Britain, and we don't like flu. We don't like the influ or the enza. Quiet dog. Roxy. That barking is my dog. I love my dog. She is adorable. She's a Whippet Staffy cross, and she actually belongs to my daughter, but she's completely insane. Sorry for the twitching. Here we've got a picture of this beautiful, beautiful piece of machinery, which is called the Myphitic Blight Hauler. They're fairly simple, so even by just this picture, you can see how it's going to work. It's really nice. Roxy, stop playing with the squeaky thing. There is some damage to the front cover of the magazine. I don't know if you can see it as I'm holding the light, which is taken from the fact that this model is just so much bigger. It's not particularly bad. I think it's just this little bit here poking in. It's damaged on the front cover, and it's barely noticeable after that. But if you really, really are picky, most of your local news agents and your local stockers who are stocking this will have multiple copies you can look through. The creases and that probably happened in my book bag on the way home. In my man bag. Okay, so we've got the first page I'll send you the front page. As always, we've got a nice little description of what's in this issue, signed by Ian, who's going to be the guy who's the editor, I would imagine. And a nice bit there. And all the bits about customer service and that, which I've never shown to you before, but I just felt the urge to show you now. We've got the bases on the Myphetic Blight Hauler with a nice picture there. Tells you what it is. It's a demon engine. It's mobile fire support. It specialises in tank hunting and escort duty. Basically, it's a small thing designed to get rid of bigger things. And it tells you what it comes with: a multi-melter, missile launcher, gnashing maw, and bile squirt, which are both in its mouth by the looks of it. Which basically vomits on you, which is quite cool. Spewing vomits actually been a Nurgle tradition since the original epic and Adeptus Titanicus. The greater demons had, was it bile spewing, or they had a spell where they spewed on you, which nobody ever used because they had another spell called uncontrollable flatulence, and nobody was ever not going to use flatulence around a gaming table because I was 8 years old, and when you're 8 years old, a farting demon is the coolest thing you've ever seen. Again, we've got another page there, nice little Nurgle symbol, describing the Blight Hauler, describing what it does, also describing demon engines. There have been some discussions of, is there going to be a pre-heresy version of this? Is this some sort of pre-heresy thing? Is there going to, because some people have looked at it and gone, ooh, it's got a little waspish tail, and some people thought maybe they could use it with 1,000 Suns or something else. The answer to that is no, it's a demon engine, which means it's constructed specifically in the demon forges in the Eye of Terror, not by Adeptus Mechanicus or Dark Adeptus or anything like that. This is a new, unique thing to Chaos. You might see these in 30k, but you certainly won't see non-Nurgle versions of them, I wouldn't think. Again, more details on the Blight Hauler. It is a fairly new model. It is another drone-based model, so they are sort of insectoid and buzzing and pustule-like, and so they are really putting them forward as not having to have a Space Marine in them, which is cool because obviously units like the Death Guard, units like most Chaos Space Marines are going to have a lot more trouble recruiting Space Marines and replenishing their gene seed. For example, the 1,000 Suns, what the hell can they do about their gene seed? It's dust. And I've no idea how Nurgles rot and all his wonderful contagions, of which I am sharing one, would affect the gene seed. So I'm pretty sure that most Chaos Marine armies can't afford to be wasting too many troops driving vehicles. It goes into more detail, giving you some more background about the various aspects of Wargear on the Blight Hauler. It's very focused, this issue, actually, which is not surprising, as the Blight Hauler is probably, it's probably the coolest thing we've had so far on this magazine. So giving it a lot of time, giving it a lot of detail makes sense. Blight Haulers are demon engines that combine organic components with the strength and resilience of metal and the sheer fury of a demon. Or daemon. Some people pronounce it daemon. It's actually interesting to note the word daemon doesn't mean demon. It means spirit of air and fire, which could refer to the fact that these demons seem to come out of thin air or come out of a realm of liquid chaos rather than a physical hell, but it could just be that they want a demon to sound different. Anyway, you've got the missile launcher, bar spur, a rotted nozzle just from below the Blight Hauler's maw. This organic spew is connected to a foul bile that is brewed within the demon engine's internal organs. Nice. So it is literally bile because it is semi-organic and alive in nature. It's nice. It's really quite cool. kind of reminds me of the Cylons from Battlestar Galactica. This is a combination of a living, semi-organic thing. That's the new Battlestar Galactica, not the old one, which was much cooler. But the new one had some cool stuff in it as well. You know, it's a semi-organic thing. It's actually kind of a cybernetic living organism, or rotting organism, which is much more Nurgle than that. I really like that. Yeah, it's got little chitinous bits here, little crab-like claws. If I played Nurgle, I'd love it. We've got another story here, the raid on Realthor Prime. As I said before, these stories are really good. They're great for getting some inspiration, some ideas about how you're going to play your army, how you're going to paint it, how you're going to build it around the various troop types. I'm really enjoying them so far. Then we've got the obviously the required at this point. Sorry, twitching is fuck behind this. The required at this point, how to build. No safety thing. For those who haven't been watching, every issue they've had a safety thing on how to use clippers. On this one they haven't, so you know, don't cut your fingers off. But nice big one there, and the basics of how it goes together there. You may think, oh, that's going to be easy. In fact, with a lot of these easy to build ones where you've got no spare parts, and where they're a bit more complicated than, for example, some of the older models, which you can just bang any two parts together. A lot of these easy to build ones are designed for one pose or the other pose, so the instructions are actually quite useful. Hello, Emma. That's my child there sneaking into the room. You've got, again, how to paint your Blight Hauler using the paints you've already got. It may be worth noting on this that so far in every issue, the colours they've got have looked very similar to the colours it comes in. This leaves you free to not bother painting it too much because it's already coloured in. But if you're going to paint it in more detail, you do want to paint, yes, the green you're painting over is very similar to the green you're using, but you do want to paint that green over because the plastic that it's made of won't hold a wash, whereas the green paint you're painting over will hold a wash and will take that paint and make it act properly. I know some people have just been painting them directly, which is perfectly fine, provided you don't want to use a wash or anything over the plastic. But if you do want to use a wash, as I say, you've been given this beautiful green. Make use of it. And if you run out, remember, that's what GW stores are for. Yep, some beautiful detailing work there. Explaining how to use the gold, and then explaining how to use the Agrax Earthshade to then bring the gold down to a much more three-dimensional looking effect. Right, here we go to Vehicle on Deck, the battle they supplied with this issue. Again, they're matching up. It's another small battle. They're not using all the guys in this, which I imagine will happen later, but you've got the Myphetic Blight Hauler against 3 Marines and a Psyker. You've got rules on vehicles on the tabletop, how they're used. Both players read this. You've got the stats on the Blight Haulers and again the stats on the Intercessors, which is cool because it means everything you're using is at your fingertips. It gives you the basics on what they do and how to run it. It gives you the basics. Also, it gives you the basics on wounds, and it has a little extra bit on rolling damage. Obviously, because your Blight Hauler is a multi-wound vehicle. How many wounds does it actually have? 8 wounds. Okay, it's not too bad. It's about the same wounds as a special character, which is understandable. It's meant as a light vehicle. Here we can see on the top, it's kind of a tricycle looking thing. It actually uses tank tracks, which are really nice. I don't know if you can see this, but they're not actually done as just tank tracks. They're done as this sort of chitinous shell bits that actually claw out. Actually look quite vicious. Look, if they went over you, they'd shred you. And then you've got the final page, you've got the extra rules they add. You know, Blight, Spurt, Foresword and Smite. Sorry, twitching. Some of these rules we've already had, but some of them are new rules, which means this page is a particularly useful page. And let's have a look what we've got next. Next week, what I'm very much looking forward to, we've got our 3 badasses. Learn about aggressors. Ultramar invaded. Really looking forward to the aggressors. I would imagine that there'll be flamethrowers only in those kits. They're going to be basically an easy to build aggressor kit. Again, it's not going to be too hard to Facebook and post among your friends, or even have a word with your local store and see if they've got the spare arms to turn them into into the more longer range bolt guns. That's the name escapes me at the moment, sorry. Into the more longer range bolt guns that they have on these things. But yeah, as the picture there shows flamers and the picture of the thing shows flamers, I'd imagine it's only going to be a flamer loadout. For those of you who are wondering which loadout is best, neither. They're both awesome. If you want to have a defensive unit, the flamer loadout is amazing because you don't have to roll a d6. You roll a d6 for how many wounds you get. You don't have to roll a d6 to hit because they auto hit. And you can actually do quite a lot of damage with a flamer loadout if you're being charged in your Overwatch. And after that, we have... we have Foul Blight Spawn. He's not given a name. Oh no, Foul Blight Spawn is his name. We have the first Death Guard character. We're beginning to get a bit worried because we had quite a bit on the Space Marines character-wise. We've had 2 characters, Space Marines, and 0. A big fat Nurgle like 0 on the Death Guard. So in 2 weeks' time, you're going to be getting that first character. Now, competition time. As previously stated, I don't use Death Guard. So make a comment in the bottom, and I will randomly pick from the comments that I made, and you can win. The comment I randomly pick will win this Mycetic Blight Hauler. Am I saying that right? Myphitic. Will win this Myphitic Blight Hauler. I'll send you that in the post. As for last week's competition, because we've done 2 Death Guard in a row, the winner is Johnny Demonic. I'm going to be PMing you in your comment on the previous video shortly after this for your address, and I will send these little fellas from last week, little poxwalkers, to you via the post. Congratulations. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Hi guys, hope you enjoyed that video, and if you did, remember to like and subscribe to my channel. I'm also on Facebook and Twitter. I'm not sure why, but I am. So if you like it, see me there, and please tell your friends. Thanks very much. Bye.